Circuses have always been about pushing the limits of human skill and imagination, but some acts go so far that they seem impossible. From daring stunts to bizarre performances, these are the spectacles that make audiences gasp, laugh, and sometimes shiver in disbelief. Yet, unlike fiction, these acts were all real, performed by people who mastered the extraordinary. You will be watching these people on your screen as we showcase some of the most unusual historical acts performed in the circus. And this video is a gift for stunt lovers, so make sure to be with us till the end. Number 15. Balancing ladders on top of each other. This act involves stacking multiple ladders vertically, with a performer climbing to the top of the precarious structure. Originating in the late 19th century, it was often seen in European and American circuses, where strongmen and acrobats would demonstrate extreme balance and core strength. The ladders were typically made of wood, each carefully inspected for uniformity and structural integrity to prevent collapse. Performers would sometimes secure the ladders lightly at the base or hold them with assistance. But much of the act relied on acute spatial awareness and micro-adjustments to counter any wobble. In some instances, performers would add complexity by holding props, such as a balancing pole or juggling objects, to further showcase skill. This act combined physics, muscle memory, and precise timing, and was considered one of the riskiest balancing feats, often drawing large crowds who marveled at the seeming impossibility of maintaining stability on multiple ladders stacked high. Number 14. Circus acts involving electric shocks as endurance tests. In the early 20th century, some circuses experimented with endurance acts that incorporated mild electric shocks to test performers' resistance and concentration. These acts were primarily exhibited by strongmen or human endurance performers who demonstrated the ability to withstand pain without visible reaction. The apparatus typically involved low-voltage currents delivered through metal rods or plates held by the performer, sometimes combined with other feats like lifting weights or holding extreme postures. Historical reports indicate that audiences were fascinated by the science behind these displays, often marveling at performers' control over their nervous system and pain tolerance. While these stunts were dangerous, safety measures were gradually introduced as electrical understanding improved. Such acts highlighted the intersection of entertainment and emerging scientific curiosity, showing early 20th century fascination with human limits under controlled technological conditions. Number 13. Rolling on barrels while juggling flaming torches. This act combines balance, coordination, and fire handling skills. Performers would place a large barrel horizontally on the stage, often slightly elevated or on rollers, and stand on it while rolling back and forth. The added complexity came from juggling flaming torches simultaneously, requiring split-second timing and precise spatial awareness. Historically, this stunt became popular in late 19th and early 20th century circuses, particularly in Europe, where audiences were drawn to visually dramatic and dangerous feats. The barrels were typically wooden, reinforced with metal bands, and carefully inspected for defects to prevent accidents. Torch juggling demanded rigorous training, as performers had to maintain rhythm and hand-eye coordination while compensating for the rolling motion. The act was often performed outdoors or under high-ceiling tents to minimize fire hazards. Mastery of this combination of motion and fire elevated it to one of the most technically demanding circus stunts of its time. Number 12. Human suspension acts, where performers hang from hooks. Human suspension involves piercing the skin, usually on the back or torso, and attaching hooks to suspend the performer from rigging above the stage. This practice has historical roots in various ritualistic and cultural performances worldwide, but became incorporated into circuses during the 19th century as an extreme sideshow attraction. Performers would hang from multiple hooks, sometimes supporting weights, performing controlled swings, or demonstrating acrobatic positions mid-air. The act required precise knowledge of human anatomy to avoid serious injury and often involved extensive conditioning to toughen the skin, and connective tissue rigging equipment included steel cables, pulleys, and specially designed hooks tested to bear significant loads. Audience fascination stemmed from the seeming defiance of pain and gravity, though the technical complexity and medical risks were considerable. Number 11. Mirror illusion contortion acts. Performers contorted their bodies against a backdrop of strategically placed mirrors, creating illusions of extra limbs, impossible bends, or multiple performers stacked in one reflection. These setups required precise alignment, both for the mirrors and the performer's body, as even a slight miscalculation would break the illusion. Mirrors were often angled using adjustable wooden frames, allowing stagehands to fine-tune perspectives before each performance. The acts emphasized visual deception over raw physical endurance, but contortionists still needed extreme flexibility and core strength to maintain the correct posture. Lighting was also critical. Angled spotlights minimized shadows that could reveal the mechanics behind the illusion. Some performers incorporated props, chairs, hoops, or small platforms into their routines, enhancing the illusion of floating or overlapping forms. These acts combined mathematics, geometry, and spatial awareness, demonstrating the technical sophistication of circus productions beyond the expected physical feats. Number 10. Rolling across stage inside a giant hamster ball. This stunt involved a performer climbing into a large, transparent sphere and propelling it across the stage by running, balancing, and occasionally jumping inside the ball. First recorded in circuses of the early 20th century, the act required immense spatial coordination, as the performer had to maintain speed and direction while countering the ball's momentum. The spheres, often made of thick acrylic or reinforced celluloid, were constructed to withstand impacts with stage edges or audience barriers. Some acts introduced juggling, balancing props, or even multiple performers in a single ball, multiplying the challenge. Stage floors were sometimes treated to reduce friction or provide traction, ensuring the ball rolled smoothly without excessive slipping. The visual spectacle relied on the optical effect of motion within the transparent sphere, combined with precise body positioning, making it a rare combination of physical agility and theatrical presentation. Let's go to the next one. Number 9. Sword swallowing competitions on stage. In these performances, multiple contestants would attempt to swallow swords simultaneously, often escalating in size, number, or complexity. Unlike traditional solo sword swallowing, competitions emphasized skill, precision, and control under pressure, with performers sometimes holding multiple blades at once. Techniques required exact alignment of the throat and esophagus, careful breathing, and total muscle relaxation to avoid injury. Stages were equipped with safety measures, though minimal, such as attendants standing ready with water or medical tools, but the inherent risk remained high. Competitions sometimes included timing elements, with judges recording how quickly a performer could swallow and retract the blades. Some events introduced variations, like inserting curved swords, torches, or objects with metallic edges to test limits. These contests highlighted both mastery of a dangerous skill and the performer's nerves, producing suspense not through theatrics, but through the technical challenge itself. Historical records show such competitions drawing large crowds fascinated by skill rather than spectacle. Number 8. Multi-person balancing pyramids on stilts. This act combined extreme balance, teamwork, and stilt walking. Performers would climb on one another while standing on stilts, forming vertical pyramids, sometimes reaching 3 or 4 people high. Each performer's weight and movement had to be carefully calculated, as a single misstep could topple the entire structure. Stilts were typically reinforced with leather straps and metal braces to stabilize ankles and calves, allowing performers to pivot and maintain equilibrium. Training involved synchronized timing, strength exercises, and rehearsing mounting and dismounting sequences. Some acts incorporated props like flags, poles, or lightweight boards to increase complexity and visual interest. Audiences were often positioned to view the pyramid from specific angles, emphasizing height and balance over sheer number of participants. The stunt demonstrated both mechanical understanding of center of mass dynamics and human coordination, making it a staple of circus acts emphasizing collaborative acrobatics. Number 7. Sword juggling while on a unicycle. This act merges two high-skilled disciplines, unicycling and sword juggling. Performers ride a unicycle, maintaining balance with subtle shifts in weight, while simultaneously tossing and catching multiple swords in a controlled pattern. The swords are typically blunt or dulled for safety, though the danger remains significant due to their weight and sharp edges. Mastery requires split-second timing, core strength, and exceptional hand-eye coordination. Some performers introduce variations, such as spinning the unicycle in circles or riding on elevated platforms, to increase difficulty and spectacle. Historical accounts from early 20th century European circuses indicate that these routines were particularly popular during fair circuits, where the combination of novelty and apparent risk drew large crowds. The act exemplifies a fusion of dexterity, endurance, and precision, as one minor miscalculation could result in dropped swords or loss of balance, underscoring the technical complexity of circus juggling combined with mobility. Let's move on. Number 6. Balancing on stacked chairs mid-air. In this stunt, performers stack chairs vertically, sometimes several high, and climb to balance atop them, often without safety harnesses. Some routines incorporate movement, such as rocking or swaying the stack, or adding additional performers on top to create layered displays of equilibrium. Chairs are chosen for uniform weight, solid construction, and reinforced joints to prevent sudden collapse. Performers train extensively to distribute weight evenly and adjust their center of gravity, sometimes using tactile markers on chair edges to maintain orientation. The act occasionally integrates props or acrobatics, like standing on one leg, holding objects, or jumping between stacked structures. Early circus records indicate that these routines were performed in both indoor tents and outdoor arenas, with lighting and stage placement optimized to highlight vertical height. Audience engagement relies on the visual tension of potential instability, while the performer's control over balance demonstrates remarkable spatial awareness and physical conditioning. Number 5. Tightrope walking through flaming hoops. A thin wire stretched high above the sawdust, flickering flames positioned at intervals. The performer steps forward, one careful foot after another, timing each stride to avoid the heat licking from the hoops. Originating in circuses experimenting with fire and aerial stunts in the early 1900s, this act required not just balance, but a precise understanding of momentum and foot placement. The hoops, mounted on stands or suspended from rigging, were fueled with kerosene-soaked wicks, creating intense heat zones that forced the tightrope walker to adjust posture mid-step. Some performers carried poles or torches to steady themselves or add to the visual spectacle. Training involved repeated exposure to controlled flames to build confidence and precision, while stage crew meticulously monitored rigging tension. Success relied on micro-adjustments to body sway, precise pacing, and total spatial awareness, making the routine as much an exercise in physics as in daring performance. Number 4. Suspended weightlifting acts from the ceiling. From the ceiling hung a steel bar, rigged to cables and pulleys. Performers grasped the apparatus while lifting weights, sometimes over their heads, while dangling meters above the ground. These acts combined raw strength with equilibrium. Every ounce added shifted the center of mass, forcing split-second adjustments to avoid swinging or tipping early versions. Documented in mid-20th century circuses, sometimes involved multiple performers sharing the same bar or sequential lifts in synchronization, demonstrating teamwork under extreme conditions. The weights were calibrated to prevent rigging failure but still presented a significant challenge. Performers trained in grip strength, forearm endurance, and aerial balance. Unlike static lifting, the aerial component amplified difficulty, as performers had no solid floor for support, relying entirely on suspended positioning. Audience fascination came from the tension of vertical vulnerability combined with sheer physical power. Number 3. Extreme backbends through rings of fire. Flames leapt from circular torches suspended at precise intervals, the heat radiating in waves across the stage. The performer arched backward, head and shoulders dipping toward the ground while legs stretched skyward, threading their body through each fiery ring. Success depended on spine flexibility, core strength, and timing. Even the smallest misalignment could result in contact with the flame. Stunt designers adjusted ring height and spacing meticulously, balancing spectacle with safety. Some routines included multiple rings in rapid succession, requiring the performer to maintain fluidity through each arc. Fuel-soaked wicks were carefully monitored to produce consistent flames, and practice runs used unlit rings to calibrate body motion. Unlike aerial acts driven by momentum, this display relied entirely on controlled body mechanics, precise angles, and acute awareness of distance. The result was a tension-filled visual sequence where physical skill and carefully engineered fire intersected in an exacting demonstration of human flexibility. Number 2. Holding a handstand for hours on end. A single pedestal supported the performer, wrists locked and arms taut, as the body inverted into a perfect vertical line. Muscles trembled under constant load, veins visibly routing blood back toward the heart. Early endurance specialists trained progressively, beginning with minutes and advancing to hours, developing shoulder stability, wrist resilience, and core engagement. Some incorporated one-arm variations or slight rotations to showcase additional control. The height of the platform varied, with some performers elevating themselves several feet above the stage, increasing both difficulty and visual effect. Precision in breathing and micro-adjustments of posture prevented fatigue from toppling the balance. Audience attention centered less on motion than on the sheer persistence of posture. A continuous exercise in muscular endurance and focus equipment was basic, a flat surface with firm footing. But the feat demanded rigorous conditioning and sustained concentration, a study in prolonged inverted equilibrium that tested both body and mind. Number 1. Jumping from high platforms into tiny nets. The performer crouched on a narrow beam, eyes fixed on a taut net below, measuring distance and angle. With a sudden push, they launched into free fall, body straightening mid-air, limbs subtly adjusting to trajectory. Nets were carefully layered and tensioned to absorb impact without rebound, sometimes marked with reference lines to guide precise landings. In more complex sequences, flips or twists were added, requiring calculated rotation to align with the landing zone. Rehearsals often began from lower heights or padded surfaces, incrementally increasing risk as skill-improved stage design accounted for lighting and spatial cues to allow exact depth perception, while rigging staff monitored net tension continuously. The combination of gravity, motion, and precise spatial judgment turned each descent into a controlled physics exercise. Audience intrigue came from observing the performer negotiate a small target from considerable height, blending aerial mechanics with exacting control. These extraordinary circus acts reveal the extreme skill, precision, and daring humans can achieve. From balancing heights to fiery stunts, each performance stretches the limits of possibility, offering a glimpse into a world where creativity meets courage and the unimaginable becomes reality under the spotlight. If you enjoyed this glimpse into unbelievable circus feats, subscribe now for more jaw-dropping performances, hit the bell to catch every new video, and join our community of stunt lovers. Comment your favorite act, share the thrill with friends, and witness the most astonishing human skills unfold right here on our channel. Thanks for giving us your time.